All right, morning everybody. It is Sunday morning and I have a delivery to make. I got to deliver this neck over to Kent and he's got some stuff for me to take home to work on in my shop. So what's going on here is that we are building a slew of guitars right now. And the reason we're doing this is because we have a guitar show coming up. And if you're not familiar, basically a guitar show is typically a regional type of event in which guitar sellers and musical instrument sellers of all kinds basically get together, usually in a convention hall of some sort, and we show off our wares and we try to sell it to people. And I can remember when I was younger, I would go to a guitar show and I would spend hundreds of dollars on just stuff because I am a complete, total gear fanatic. And that's what we're going to do is we're going to take our stuff to the guitar shows and actually start selling some guitars to hopefully gear fanatics. And yeah, maybe make a little bit of money, but I actually get our guitars into the hands of prospective players, see what people think about it, get some feedback, take notes, see what everybody else is doing too, and just have some fun selling some stuff. So let's get over to Kent's and we'll see what we are in the process of building right now, because that's some pretty exciting stuff. Kent's got some great work done over the course of the past few weeks, and this neck is for one of those guitars that we're going to be taking to the show. So you're actually going to get to see the evolution of this instrument as it comes together. So I'll see you there. All right, I have arrived. Okay. Kent doesn't know I'm filming. I have no idea if he's had his coffee yet or not. So this should be amusing. Hey Kent, surprise filming. Here. Another fun project of Kent's. It's a beautiful Suzuki Savage that he restored. Hasn't been ridden in a while. Hadn't been started in a while. I've offered to take it off his hands, but he won't let me have it. Good morning!
Good morning, sir.
I brought our friends!
Oh, our friends, hello. I must come over near the microphone so I may say hello to our friends with my
yes,
coffee, because it's
that answers the question. Has Kent had his coffee? And the answer is...
just now. The coffee is just now in the best mug ever.
That smells good, too.
It smells good. I'd make you some, but we'd have to do more.
Well, that's okay.
Which
We got
still
stuff.
do.
We got stuff to do. We got
do.
things to do. We got places to go, people to see, and guitars to make. I've explained to these folks, these fine folks, that what we're working on here is putting together a big bunch of guitars for a guitar show. And explaining to them what a guitar show is and what our intentions are in terms of bringing some guitars to a show and showing them off and maybe even selling one.
We could, if we sold one. That would be great.
That would be great. I would love to have my work in the hands of another player.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's go inside and have a look-see at exactly what it is we're working on and what we're going to bring to the show, because you're going to see an evolution of these guitars. It's going to be pretty cool.
This is the neck for the Mach 5, the Marcus Broder we were just talking about out there. Yep. And let's see if it fits. Still, it should. Oh, this is one of those things I was talking about that last video. That's the
beautiful,
groovy little tenon. I'm not going to tell you that I had to modify it with a chisel and a hammer. I'm not going to say that out loud.
These guitars are handcrafted. That's what's involved.
All right, lock in. Sometimes it's hard to find the hole.
It should be a tight fit.
It is a tight fit.
I mean, this is like one of the first times it's been done, so.
Yeah. Oh, that looks pretty good. There.
Yeah, look at that. gives you kind of an idea what this guitar is going to look like when it's done.
Yeah. So that, and on the original over there, you can see it's got the chrome aluminum tailpiece, which is was designed in Fusion 360.
Yeah. There's a story there.
Built it at the makerspace at University of Cincinnati.
This one's a little bit different.
Yeah. I thought it was going to cost about $400, and it cost about $800. And the guy that did the machining no longer works there, and I'm not sure where the file ended up, the final one that he did. So
that's an unfortunate reality.
that one is based on a cheapie that I bought on Amazon. Just was a little $30 thing. And I really, really didn't do a lot to change the design, that sort of S-curve thing. And I just kept thinking, well, if we're going to have original ones, it should be original ones, not a sort of knockoff of something else.
Absolutely.
So anyway, so that's this. This is the third design of it, where a thinner top. The top section was originally about twice that thick. And originally, because it's a two-part CNC process, and I don't have any way to come in from the end, I just did the slots. But they're really, really up high towards the top of the tailpiece,
Yeah.
so it made the angle to the bridge much less acute. I'm still a little worried it's not going to be steep enough, but ignore the fact that those holes aren't perfectly aligned.
They are perfect.
They're perfect.
It's the camera's tilted.
Oh, the camera's tilted, and this angle is different than that angle.
Exactly.
So anyway, so now that's this. I kept thinking, wow, how can I change this? My CNC machine can't drill at that angle, and I don't think there's enough space to try to set up a rig and hold it like this. And then I thought, I could just drill it.
With a drill.
With a drill. So that's what I did. So anyway, that goes there. It'll get mounted like so. So this one's down to sanding. It really is, I think. I think I've done everything I can. Carved the neck. Sanded. I am loving this, the way this wood looks.
Yeah, that Padak top, and the way the headstock turned out, just tremendous. Like a good contrast in wood colors. I'm really eager to see what the color is going to be of that Padak top once you actually start putting a finish on it.
You know, it could be that maybe it's just a rubbed oil finish. Maybe, I don't know. I have to experiment just a little bit, but we're running out of time to experiment too much.
This is true. This is true because the guitar show is coming up in June, and it is late April at this point in time.
Yeah.
So we got about a month to knock all these out. Now, how many instruments are we planning on having for the show?
Well, there's
We've got this one.
There could be 10, and when I say 10, 2 of those could be like we could take the Phoenix. We could maybe take.
Oh
Keith,
yeah, we should definitely take the Phoenix.
because that's going to become a production model.
That's a work of art, and we should take Keith as well.
Yeah, we just have to put it behind a lock and key. Nobody's allowed to touch it because bits will fall off.
Yes, just put a big sold sign on it so nobody touches it.
And we could take the mouse.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to play, but the idea sound.
Yeah, and I think most people would be too intimidated to play it.
Probably. So there's 3. This one will be done.
Number 4, yeah.
Let's take it apart and pull a couple more up. This is my standard working scenario where I have 6 feet of space, but I pile crap everywhere. Tetsuo! Because I'm a grown-up.
So I was telling Kent as we were getting set up for this. I was telling Kent before, as we were getting set up to make video here, that whenever I see a YouTuber out there who's got a perfectly manicured bench, I just think to myself, that's BS. That's just complete BS. Nobody who's actually making something and succeeding in making something, producing something, has a bench that looks perfect like that. This is the reality of the situation.
Yeah.
This is the way my bench looks at home too. I mean, you basically just wind up using every square inch of horizontal area to hold your stuff.
And it changes. You know,
I don't know.
That's the thing that I think is interesting is your space changes with what you're doing. So if you look down here, you'll see a stack of instruments, and that's the ones we're building. before that was full of all sorts of other stuff that I was storing. And then I realized about 2/3 of it was unnecessary. I was just talking to my wife about this, how your space changes based on where you are in your life. And sometimes it takes a second for that change to totally
Exactly.
get
So,
fixed.
like when I'm working on frets on my bench, I'll have all my fretting stuff out,
Yeah.
and then I'll switch over and I'll be working on setups, or I'll be working on electronics, and depending on what the task is at hand, the bench is going to change.
I just need a space to put all these instruments, because before they were just sitting on the floor, and I was, every now and then my chair would roll back and bang one. And okay, here's a question. Here, let's get both on the camera here. Here's a question for all of you guitar builders out there. How the fuck do you keep a guitar from ending up with a little tiny ding on the back of it, even though you handle it with total kit gloves?
Nope. Doesn't
Kit
happen.
gloves?
There's
Gloves.
always kit gloves.
Kit gloves. Anyway, so yeah, every time I touch one of these things, it ends up with a ding. The fretless bass.
Good God.
That's a, let me prop
So
this up.
take a look at this.
Yeah, that'll be sufficient.
That's good enough. I'll give you an idea what it kind of looks like.
And I was thinking, so Mark had come up with the idea of basically doing a epoxy on the neck.
Either epoxy or a CA.
CA. And I love the idea, but I think that would end up being too shiny for the rest of it.
Well, the thing, this is how we come up with things, people. The thing I'm thinking is that this is super glossy. The control part of it is. If we were to do a CA finish on top of the fretboard, it's going to gloss it up as well, and it'll match.
That's a good point. Yeah. So the original plan on this was all of these, like everything was going to be black.
Yeah.
Except, and once this started coming together, that contrast of maple to this, I knew this had to be black, and the reason this had to be black is because there was an issue, like this part I had to carve away with the CNC machine because I wasn't sure exactly how I could do this, and I want this this is really just a prototype, but there was an issue with the simulation versus reality,
Right.
And right at this control hole, it burned through the wood just a little bit, and so I had to put a piece of wood underneath and then put some glue filler in. And my experience with using any kind of wood filler that has any kind of wood fillerness in it is nothing sticks to it. I don't care what people say.
Nope.
Nothing sticks to it. So
Black it is.
vinyl and black. And I was a little worried that the back would look strange, and I think it's okay because it goes from this to that, and I think that's okay.
Oh, I think that's just fine.
Yeah.
I love the output jack location.
Yeah.
That's going to be beautiful. All right, so what's next?
Let's look at this one.
Ooh.
This one's coming together pretty nice too. That is the Kaiju. And this has all sorts of things we've never done before, like our first Richlite fretboard, which is pretty groovy stuff to play with.
Hey, Kent, what's Richlite?
Why, Mark, Richlite is a compressed paper composite. And Martin and a few other companies use it for their instruments. And you go on the forums, and as with everything, you got everybody loves it, everybody hates it. People say, oh, X company is crap because they're using it, but they're only using it on their cheap guitars. But a cheap Martin is still
A cheap Martin is still $2,000.
Yeah. So in the interest of trying to do something with different materials, I thought, let's try it. Partly because I was hoping that they made something in white, because the original plan for this was to be deep blue, or sort of a robin's egg blue top, a deep blue back, a white fretboard, white pickups, and black pickguard material. But they don't make it in white because the resins they use will automatically make it more tannish. So
Right.
I'm like, that's fine. So
Don't discolor it.
Anyway, so this is kind of like our version of a tele configuration. This is, we have the bridge we have is a Nova bridge, is black.
Yeah.
All right, what's next? Oh, here it is.
But there's another base.
So anyway, this is currently called the GL1 because
Yeah,
we're
why
both
GL?
Rush fans.
GL. Who's got initials GL?
We've been really struggling with wanting incredibly original hardware. And
Difficult.
just really hard to find.
Super, super difficult. Unless you're going to invest in a benchtop CNC machine and come up with really good designs yourself. Very, very difficult. I think that's like one of the hardest things that a guitar company can achieve is getting to the point of making your own hardware like that. Is that the Nova bridge?
No, that's a kick-ass hip shot.
Okay.
We'll do the trick. I mean, it's a bass bridge. It's made out of metal. It bolts to the instrument. Oh, we got these groovy inserts. So we're mounting the pickups with screws and inserts versus just screwing it into the wood itself.
Yep.
So that's gonna be nice. But yeah, I think this is gonna be fun. Pretty happy with this.
Beautiful.
All right, this is a V4, and
Take a look at this.
all of the hardware is going to be copper.
That's going to be awesome.
And you know who makes copper stuff like this? Geiger. You know who doesn't make copper stuff like this? Anyone else.
Anyone else?
So we have...
Well, there's that, but there's also the fact that
yeah,
there's been some self-fabricated copper things that Tunguska's done. So yeah, I think that's going to look fantastic.
And you know, you're talking about the benchtop CNC to do that kind of thing. I think that could totally be in our future.
Yeah.
Because it turns out one of the things that I love doing the most is designing this stuff.
Right.
And to the point where I sometimes go, why didn't you go to engineering school instead of try to be a movie maker? Because I was scared of math. I didn't know that I'd be able to do it on my phone.
That has definitely enabled a lot of design things that we couldn't possibly do.
Should we tell them about the reason for the copper here?
Well, I wanted to make this point earlier because that's why the control pod on the Galileo is black, and that's why a lot of things have transpired. Is sometimes you make a mistake on a guitar or something happens and it's just basically it's irrevocable. You can't send a guitar out like that. So what you wind up doing is you come up with a creative solution.
Yes, and in this case, the problem was this black Limitop. So I don't think you can tell on the camera, but this slopes back, and the slope is carved into the body wood, and then I have a series of relief cuts on the back of the top to allow it to bend easier, so I can go maybe a little farther than normal. And when I started to bend it, well, I did two mistakes. Actually, no, the bending worked pretty well. But I was afraid when I did the test, it was really super brittle. So I thought, how am I going to do this? I should probably, let me heat it up. I'll soak it in really, really hot water. Don't soak something that has a glue joint in really, really hot water because it just went doink, and just now I had two pieces. So I figured, well, I mean, they marry well enough. Let me just glue it down,
Sure,
like that. And it looked fine until I put this color on it, and then that black line down between the two just became so obvious it looked like a problem.
Like when you sent me pictures on a cell phone, I was able to tell with a cell phone video, and I was like, maybe we should put some binding in there.
Yeah,
or,
yeah.
You know, route a channel and put another piece of wood in there to make it look like you meant to do that.
Yeah. So it was like, well, we've used copper before. So I made a little rig, I think it's out in the garage, and bought some copper from Metal Supermarkets. They are fabulous. They have a place here in Cincinnati.
Dews Drive.
Here's the Jazz. This one is a version that Mark deemed that was necessary, and I kind of fought it at first, but now I really love it. This was a V5 without the Baroque hook and strangeness, and also this also inspired the bass design. Really, I just took this design, enlarged it, did some tweaks with it, and that became the bass.
The finish on this is absolutely spectacular.
So here's something we can actually discuss on camera in front of a million, I mean, 100 people. I fear trying to do anything to the cherry to darken it. Though it feels like it should be darker, but it can't be as dark as the walnut, because that would be weird.
No, I like the contrast. I like the contrast between the cherry, the walnut, and this top.
Yeah.
The alternating color difference right there, that contrast is what provides that visual pop.
Yeah. Okay, cool. This is the new and updated version of the Stanford design.
This is way more refined than it was the last time I saw it. It's actually got relief cuts.
Yeah. So wait, this is one of these weird issues. I love working with cherry. I think it is a lovely wood to make a guitar out of. I think it sounds great. But I've had a couple situations, we can show you on this one in particular. After I cut, I did everything up to cutting the shape out. And when I cut the shape out, a handful of voids were revealed in the wood. So I still need to finish sanding these.
Oh yeah, I can see that one.
Yeah, this one's really obvious. There's a really bad one there, and I just kept shoving filler in there, and then I'd let it dry, and it would sink in. And so this is going to have to be, I think, a solid color on the back. So what I think I'm going to do is a deep green transparent that goes into a black burst, and then the black.
That would be nice. This is the other Richlite neck, right?
No, it's not. It is the. Where is it? Oh, it's this one. Oh, this is the one I got to give you. This is the one you have to take home.
I see.
So, and I
Yes.
already did the green
Very nice.
inlays, and this has, again, the big Duma Fliggy. And
Oh yeah, look at that. That's gonna look great. Just beautiful.
I'm like 90% sure that all of the stuff that needs to be made has been made. So this is the the Victor, and where'd that go? Oh, I gotta make a new one of these. That's right. So the Victor's gonna have another one of these guys, but I have to make it, and this one I don't know what color it's gonna be. Part of me says another, like I'm a big sucker for bluey greeny colors, but we already have the Jazz.
I mean, there's always the traditional tobacco sunburst.
Ooh, I don't know. I was also thinking purple.
So yeah, Kent and I are pretty big fans of weird colors, but I don't think we've done a traditional like sunburst before.
Nope.
Personally, I'm a sucker for a 3-color sunburst. I think I've got like 4 guitars with a 3-color sunburst on them. There actually is a completed Victor here, which is this guitar.
Oh, right. Yeah, there is.
So this guitar was completed, what, 2 years ago?
More than that, I think. Well, completed, maybe. Yeah, it might be a couple years ago it was completed, but that was basically built because when I was doing the one for Jeff, I didn't really know if I knew what I was doing, so I made 2 in case I botched one. And that's the Survivor.
Let's take a look at this.
This is a V6. This is the other Richlite. So this is the black Richlite. Is that the black one? Yeah.
Incidentally, Richlite is very, very forgiving when you're putting frets into it. So those of you who actually do fret guitars, try out Richlite sometime for a fretboard. It's like it's very, very forgiving.
So this will be our, our take on essentially a Strat style single coils. But are you doing stacked singles on this?
I'm thinking so. I don't like noisy pickups, and so I think I'm going to do. There's a couple of options, and we'll talk more about that later. I'm considering a different pickup design that will be noiseless, but at the same time not a stack single.
Okay, cool. So huzzah.
That is a Wilkinson unit.
Yep, Wilkinson V100TN something. It's their modern version.
Super, super solid.
Yeah, I really like these. So yeah, that was the thing. It's like we didn't really have an all single coil guitar. So this is the first attempt, and this was something that's like a little more traditional. We still have some of our design elements, but we just kept thinking, okay, everything we have is pretty out there, but let's try to just start to dial back towards what people tend to buy. And this is one of the reasons we want to go to the guitar show.
I'm going to get the feedback on what people like, and if people react to this really, really well, then we'll make more of these. We're here to make guitars, but at the same time, I also want to like retain our own DNA as part of these guitars.
All right, so this is the one that probably won't be done in time. This is our first attempt at an honest-to-God bent side semi-hollow.
This is pretty exciting.
Yeah, so this was same general plan, and you can see here what I was talking about. One, these holes are too small. You can never get a ball end in there.
Yep.
So I'll have to remake this. But the nice thing is once the design is in and working, it's super easy to duplicate.
Yep. That's the fun part about CNC. Here's the thing, you guys. Not everything that we do is CNC. There's still a whole lot of handwork that gets done on these guitars. I mean, all of those relief cuts, the belly cuts, elbow cuts, Kent is doing those by hand with a file.
Yeah.
It's not like he's just like, putting a piece of blank wood into a CNC machine and pressing a button and having a guitar emerge. That's not what our deal here is at all.
Yeah.
There's still a ton of handwork that goes into these guitars.
Even cutting the, so what I do is, and at first I felt guilty about this too. I have the CNC carve out an outline of the body just with an edge tool. And at first I thought, gosh, well, I thought, well, but I have templates. If I lay a template down and draw a pencil line around it, it is exactly the same thing.
Exactly.
So, and I still cut them out by hand because I really like that. That to me feels like building. Eventually I want to do an actual carved top. This is too thin for that, but this is some burled maple. This is some myrtle that I got ages ago. So that'll be the back. And then this fits right here. And then this fits right on top. But as you can see,
whoops,
something in the design got moved, or I moved something in the design and forgot to adjust it everywhere. So,
well, fortunately we have a way to fix that.
Yeah, I have a router and it'll take seconds. So it's not a big deal.
Nope.
But this doesn't even have a neck built yet. I have side bending jigs that I made, like about the fourth iteration, but I think they're going to work. I need to finish building my steam tube. Every time I think about that. So here's why I haven't built the steam tube yet. I've got the ends for it. I think I have the dowels that I'll stick through it so the wood has something to sit on. I've got the steam generator, the Wagner steam generator, or whatever company it is. But I have to go to Home Depot and get a 10-foot long piece of 4-inch pipe because I could get it in 10 feet long or 2, and I need 3.5. So I have to go there and cut it or have them cut. You ever have one of those days where you just want to go and you just don't have the energy to do something really simple? Because what I'm talking about is not hard. Go to the store, get a pipe, shove it in my car, close the lid, come home, cut it. It's not hard. I just don't want to do it. So I didn't yet. So this one won't be done.
So, lots of work to be done. So, let's wrap this one out. I'm going to basically just say that we've got a big bunch of guitars and basses that we got to work on, finish, and get ready for the show. And then, one of these videos that's going to be coming up is going to be us actually at the show, manning a table full of guitars and we're actually going to bring some of our old used gear too to sell. So, if you want to join us, we're going to be at the Ohio Guitar Show up in Columbus in June. I forget. We're going to put the 8th of June. I was going to say we'd put the date on the screen or something like that.
My sister's birthday. That's why I remember.
Aha! There you go. There you go. Perfect. Regardless, we hope to see you there, and we'll wrap this one up. Thanks. See you next time.